Hey everybody, welcome to Warno. I'm playing, or I was playing, on 10v10 Taller. And I'm going to be explaining real quick the value of our new boys in blue. Neuneneundzig Luftjäger, aka Luftlande Division. These guys are basically a... Oh, I'm on too many speeds right now. Put that at 1. I'm... oh yeah, I screwed up this dude. I accidentally pressed U, got him unloaded. So Luftlande Division are basically airborne infantry, but more of like a heavy airborne infantry than, let's say, 82nd Airborne, because they have relatively decent tanks. They don't have a very good air tab. They do kind of have a decent anti-air tab, but they don't really have any long-range AA besides the Gepard, which is a radio-controlled anti-air flat cannon on wheels, essentially. So what I am doing is like the one strategy that I've got with these guys. Play 10v10 Taller, ignore 90% of the map. Doesn't matter what's going on there. Go for this forest line, this mountain range right here, and just abuse the hell out of all your really cool infantry units that are designed to fight forests. And specifically, go faster through difficult terrain like forests and mountains. So this alpha zone is a pretty easy take for us, because while we have this open field, the enemy never, like, unless they go airborne and just commit a whole bunch of BMDs to this pocket, you're never gonna be like outgunned in this initial fight if you bring on like 4 or 5 little leopards. These leopards are cheap, but they're pretty good. The problem with them is that they're low range glass cannons, and they don't particularly have great guns. So Mr. Claro's white cousin is doing a lot of work for me, taking out at least one BMP2, getting this guy to unload right here. And I've got my dudes. Heck yeah. So these guys are like ridiculously overpowered, the Hochgebirgsjäger. Well, actually, I wouldn't say they're overpowered. I think they got a nerf in the last patch. But they're just really good at what they do. So they got satchel charges, but otherwise, like a very heavy complement of long-range weapons. So what you're most likely going to be facing are these RPO troopers, and the RPO is like a thermobaric RPG, and what those guys do is they set the forest on fire. So what you don't do is you don't attack move into the RPO guys. What you do is you walk move into the RPO guys. One, because you have your satchels, and your satchels are only 150 meters range, so you have to be literally on top of the dudes to use it. Second, as they fire their RPOs, if you keep moving towards them, you will walk out of the fire radius, and they'll have to use more flame on you to hurt you. So you'll be able to take minimal damage with their flame attacks, get in range with your satchels, and also these RPO guys are just kind of squishy at 8 points. So 2 Hochgebirgsjäger versus 2 superior RPOs is an easy dub for us, as long as you micro correctly. Because 2 of these on one, if you get the flame on them, as you can see they're already moving, I move path them into them. It stuns them really quickly. So what ends up happening is they take a whole lot of damage really quickly, but then these guys run out of flamethrower launcher rounds. And then my Hochgebirgsjäger are just, like, better. They're just built different. And so my dude lost, like, all of his health in, like, 15 seconds. But now he's trading, like, exceptionally well. And now I got my other Fallschirmjäger guys coming in. But just these 2 units I would have won. I'm very, very confident in that. However, what my enemy is doing is being really slow, not really committing to this forest fight, and it's going to come back and bite him in the ass, because I plan on taking over this entire forest line and pushing units deep into their rear. So what I've got now is my little forest fighting group. I push my leopards into the forest because obviously now in this replay I have vision over everyone, but I didn't know if there were more RPOs, more infantry. So anyways, also I just put them there so that they don't get spotted by anything, and if ever there's a tank rush, I'll have these guys as a QRF, quick reaction force. So this Moto Razvedka is coming into the forest unsupported. That's kind of a theme from this enemy tactical situation or whatever. They have some good micro kind of deals going on, supported infantry, but like I think he just dumped them into the forest. I won't say his name so I don't get demonetized, even though I'm not making him any money. He was playing okay. He was like cast a wide net on one of those really large 10v10 maps, and he was just holding it down but not really attacking. I'm assuming he's kind of a newer player because he doesn't seem to be very aggressive, whereas we are extremely aggressive on this flank. So essentially now I've got this Moto Razvedka. Xantos decides to spam some BMP Moto Shokis without the BMP, which is fine. I'm getting these guys back so I can send in a chopper to heal them, and my Luftgebirgsjäger, the star of the show, they're coming in, and I'm gonna start using these guys to assault up on this forest lane. So what these Luftgebirgsjäger do, and they do one thing, and that's everything. They are literally the best infantry unit in the game by far. So they've got excellent long-range capabilities. They have 16 dudes. They have 16 little guys. So they're extremely tanky. And they have the Carl Gustav M2 at, I think, 65 or 70% hit rate. And it reloads relatively quickly. It's not a recoilless rifle with like a 6-second reload. It reloads in 2 seconds, so you can destroy like any heavy tank from the front within your they have 8 actually. I was gonna say within your 4 rockets ammunition load, whatever, but no, you have 8, so you've got double the loadout of like a normal anti-tank infantry unit. Like these Moto Strelko BMPs, they have 6. This is kind of the really nice thing about the RPG-7 VLs. Even though I think they only have 17 penetration, they're actually really decent just because they have so much ammo and it reloads so quick. So yeah, these guys, 4. The Alaskan Cav Scouts got 8. Navy SEALs, pretty sure they have the AT-4s at 4, yeah. So I'm pushing up, and they drive all of their dudes into this horrible ambush, and they all die, which is good for me. Not very good for the enemy, though. And so this kind of fight is like ideal for these guys, even the Fallschirmjäger, because essentially these G3A4s, they're really nice long-range battle rifles. So they shoot a bit slower than the normal rifles. They do more damage. They are generally more accurate, and so at range they just tend to outshoot AKs. Plus, with these leopards, you know, providing air or ground support, I get bombed, and it does literally nothing. It looked cool though. That was the Su-24M TRM. I'm pretty sure TRM is supposed to be thermobaric, but I don't know. That just looked like a normal explosion, and it wasn't very effective. So he's driving up a whole bunch of units into this forest, and that's good. Like, you can definitely flank around and get a million units here. It's just gonna take you 20 minutes to get them all there, unless you initially deploy there. So I'm gonna micro these Fallschirmjägers back, probably. This is a terrible place for a Krug. Just like absolutely awful. It's in the forest. It can't see anything. You can just walk up to it. Literally anywhere else along this front line, or this rear line I would say, would have been a better idea to put that Krug. And also, spoiler alert, I don't call in any planes. So the Krug wasn't a good choice anyways. So I get my Fallschirmjäger Führer up here. totally unsupported, but there's like not really that much long range defense that this guy's got. He's got one T55 or TO55, which has the flamethrower thing, which is good. It's not horrible. I find that they're really expensive, and compared to, let's say, the oh my god, I completely forgot the name, but the American 152 launcher tank thingy that you get for 85 points, that isn't very good either. But the whole, joke about those guys is that you drive them up to a city and they just like vaporize units in one shot. They can take out a tow team in one hit, even if they like miss, quote unquote. So those guys are excellent. These flamethrower tanks are just a bit more expensive, and they do good as like tanks. They're way better tanks, quote unquote, but they're just not as reliable for the fire support role because their flamethrower is lower range. Unfortunate, but hey, whatever. This tank, Leopard Tank Rush, has been more than cost effective so far. And for some reason, they're shooting the Moto Strelko as opposed to the TO55. I don't know why the AI does that sometimes, but hey, it didn't end up really mattering. So now, the only place that the enemy can be is this little strip of land. And I don't think I have any artillery right now. Oh yeah, I have one artillery piece. Oh, and there is the lag. I don't know why I lag like that. I got this one M109 that I don't really make great use of. I don't think it's a great tank, great vehicle in general. If I had 4 of them, it would be a different story, but I can only get 2. And so, like, you really can't do a whole bunch with, like, 2 artillery pieces. You're not going to have enough, like, damage per second to burst down a relatively high strength infantry unit. You are... Yeah, these guys shouldn't be in the open. Whatever. You're not going to be able to do much. You're not going to like be able to take out an ATGM team reliably every time with your artillery just having 1 or 2 of those guys. You are going to be able to like do harassing fire and annoy the enemy, get them focusing on other things or things other than planning ahead and doing tactical maneuvers. You'd have to micro all your guys. So I've got these Luftlande in the forest. This is where they want to be. Mr. Belazoar, Koob, and Snab over here aren't doing a whole lot. I don't know if this Chaytak can actually see anything. I guess it can, but it's so far back. And my guys have good stealth rating, so like he can't see anything back here. If it were here, he could possibly see some of my frontline units. But then again, I have a lot of anti-aircraft guns. I don't have a lot of, like, long-range AA. I don't have any. I don't have a lot of man pads. I do have a lot of cannons on wheels, though. That is for sure. So now I think we finally defeated that enemy command infantry unit. And we've pretty much secured the victory right here. So yeah, he destroys all my tanks. Whatever, it doesn't matter. This dude right here is worth like 260. That's the price of 3 of my my leopards. They're 90 and 95 points each. So I'm not... These Luftgebirgsjäger cost as much as one of these leopards, just to put it into perspective. And I'm much more salty losing these guys than I am about the leopards. Though, we don't really have a whole lot of leopards in this division. I think we have in total like 16 or 18. And it's okay. It's not a terrible amount of tanks. You've got the M48s as well, but those are absolutely horrible. They can't shoot while moving, so they're like glorified anti-tank guns. They're terrible for offensive maneuvers, and like offenses is like what this division is really good in. At the very least, forest fighting offensives kind of deal. That's what they do. They're like a maneuver warfare kind of division, and not a sit in a city. Oh my god. Okay, I thought that was a laser guided bomb there, and I'm like, man, the dude just tanked that to the face. No, it was a rocket. from an Su-25. The Su-25 is actually really good. The same thing as the A-10. They're like good in the absence of enemy anti-air, because that like in 10v10s it's just saturated. The entire front line is saturated, and I had no idea they pushed through Foxtrot. As again, my only strategy is take this left flank and win on this left flank. Everything else on this map I don't even play as a Luftlande Division. However, Mr. Maple seems to be mounting a pretty good counter attack here. KDA shoots and might shoot someone down. Or just get melted. My god. Don't put your command dudes this far up on the cap zone, guys, because it just got vaporized, and now we've got this cap back. So yeah, these Luftgebirgsjägers are absolutely cracked. 2 enemy vehicles and an enemy infantry unit. One of these is out of the range of our Luftgebirgsjäger by really not that much. But I'm trying to get this BMP-1. And by the way, I'm like the micro is really bad for me in this, or not micro. The RNG is kind of pissing me off because I didn't get this guy even though I shot him twice at 70% hit chance. And it stalled these guys out for a little bit, but you know, we've got an Su-25 strafing them, got 2 enemy vehicles, they're just shrugging it all off. So like in a one pass, Andy set it on fire. In one pass, the Su-25 did like 3 damage while setting the dudes on fire. So like Luftgebirgsjäger can really take a lot of punishment and keep on fighting, you know. So yeah, that was the one strategy I know with these guys. There's another map, the Big Dish Bowl map in the DLC, whatever. That's kind of a good map for these guys if you go up to the forest. If you go in the forest with these guys, you can do pretty well. Just remember, you don't have any flame units, and that's kind of a crappy point. But if you know how to micro well, you don't need the flame units. Sappers and these Fallschirm sappers or whatever, they're excellent. And of course, I don't really use the sappers besides the Hochgebirgsjäger, who are basically buffed up sappers. Anyways, long story short, if you use these guys good in the forest, you're going to win. They're pretty fun. I like the flavor that they add, and I like this trend of NATO divisions being like, they have new capabilities and they can make the game progress in ways that it couldn't before. And so I think in smaller team games, these guys are just not super heavy hitters, mainly because their air tab is weak as hell and their tanks are just too limited. They're good, they're light, and they're maneuverable, but they don't have the numbers of any of the true light tank divisions. So they're kind of a mixed bag, where I think if you put them in their niche, put them exactly where they want to fight, they perform admirably. But you have to find those spots, and I think that's a really fun way to design new divisions, as opposed to, let's just say, the new spam divisions that Pact gets every DLC, where you just get 50 Guerrillian new heavy tanks that you can spawn in with like a tiny infantry tab. Anyways, I might do a game, I might cast a game where I played as the 17Y or whatever I think they are, the 17 guys, the new T64M division, and they're spammy as hell. But I kind of learned how to play them. You gotta play slow. It's actually it can work. You can get the point really quickly if you spam 8 T64Ms in the first minute of the game and just drive onto the middle cap zone. That can work. That can work. But the problem is once you do that, the enemy knows you have one trick up your sleeves, and then they're just gonna wait and then get some M1 Abrams or a couple helicopters, and then just wait for you to expose yourself and destroy all your tanks. And then you'll just have to wait for like half the game to accumulate enough mass to go in again. So anyways, those guys are for a different video. I'll see you guys later, I guess. See ya.